Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm the Mixtro here, and today I'm gonna play a little bit of Halo again. And it's been like what I've been doing recently. It's just 10-minute videos with a little bit of like philosophical thingies into it. Yeah, I really like the format of these videos. They're just super smooth, super easy for me to edit, and which helps my monkey brain focus, which is good. Also, I want to put out, these are just coherenting ramblings. That made sense. Anyways, it's just me organizing my thoughts and stuff that's been on my mind. And if I say anything, facts or whatever are wrong or something like that, I apologize. I'm no expert here. I'm just a guy in my room making YouTube videos. So, which is totally fine. That was what YouTube was meant for, right? That was the identity of YouTube. Or the idea, I don't know if it's the identity. That's what YouTube's identity used to be, is just going out, creating videos, and sharing them with people. Nowadays, it's like, oh the god, it feels like the barrier to entry for YouTube is so much higher. Like, you need this plan, you need this, you need to do this and that. But fuck it, we're gonna wing it right into the YouTube platform and scene, baby. I mean, I'm no stranger to YouTube. I watch a lot of channels / have been doing this channel for a while. Granted, I'm changing up my format a lot just because what I've been doing was kind of just AMV content. I missed. How many deuces take? Where did he go? Okay. Yeah, he'll take that. But it's just fascinating to see how it's changed, like how a lot of stuff has changed. Because you can argue there's a lot more restrictions on creators, which is fine, honestly. Because, you know, as YouTube grows, it needs to be more responsible with that growth and what it puts on its platform. That's how creators make money. And, oh god, that's a tank. Creators make money, and so they need to be a little bit more responsible. However, on the flip side, you can argue that it limits creators in some way. And so the identity of YouTube has changed from an all-free platform to it's easier if you have a budget and more fans to produce higher quality content and make it out there. Still doesn't mean I'm not going to try my best to get into the mainstream. That was sick. Well, that was rude. That was a really fast respawn too. Oh, we want those. But yeah, just the identity of YouTube has changed quite a bit, and so I'm just branching out. But what I wanted to talk to, that kind of feeds into it, and in case you haven't picked up onto it, I've said it like 5 times, is identity. Basically, oh, we're going to do a sync here. Basically, basically the idea of, what is it? Of who you are and how you change plays a huge factor into life, essentially. First off, the idea that you are constantly changing. From the day you were born, you were designed to change and absorb. Where the hell? From the day you were born, you were absorbing information to change yourself, alright? Well, as you take in more new information, you act accordingly. It's like, I don't giving a baby something sour. Like, he doesn't know it's sour. He's had no experience, so he's gonna have a very funny reaction because, you know, he's like, oh, this thing, caregiver you have trusted me upon, and then you give him like a lemon or a lime, and then he just has this really sad face now, and it's funny for us. Because we are clued into the joke, and he's not that ignorant baby. But that's the point. It's like once he figures out that that lemon or lime is sour, he knows that, and he's going to change his behavior based off of that. Oh, God. That, for instance, I should have put a marker up so my teammates can know where I was. But yeah, it's like you're constantly... Your identity changes on your information that is presented to you. And some people are more willing to that. Oh, God. Some people are more willing to that change, and other people are more hesitant towards that change. But either way, you change. That's the thing about your mind and you, is you are constantly always taking in information and changing it accordingly. Whether you take action on those changes is completely up to you. But the outside environment is playing an effect on how you perceive things. So you... Bada boom. Which is the fascinating part. Because now your identity is just changing all the time. Again, it seems like older people, they will stick to their... Sometimes people will just stick to their identity and they can't move past a certain identity. And at that point, it's bizarre because I feel like they're still... their identity changes, but it's a more defensive identity to protect what they have gained, even though what they have gained is clearly lost and they're still trying to put up perceived notions. But that's a whole other thing. I'm talking about, like, just the fact that who you are was different from who you were yesterday. Oh, thank God, they got him. Good job, teammate. But who you are right now is going to be different from tomorrow's you. Just because you're taking in new information, you're doing things differently and whatnot. And I think that's where people fall into ruts or whatnot, is once they get into a point where their environment doesn't change them. Because as a kid, everything's exciting about that environment. Is we're just like, because we're just kids. We're going to absorb information. That's why kids like to tinker with things and they ask questions, because they're naturally inclined to figure out what things do. Versus adults, for some reason that ability is beaten out of us. I don't know if it's the school system. Oh God. The school system or just society is just like, don't ask so many questions, blah, 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 blah. But here's the thing, is there's so much in the world and identity and changing. Also, how your parents play a role on your identity, I find fascinating. Is because I like to believe you are in control of your own self, but that's not the case when you're first growing up. Because you are so dependent on your parents. Oh God. I like death in that. But you're so dependent on your parents and who you are. I argue from at least ages 1 to 10 is your parents' ability. And so you're very dependent on that. However, after 10, I think like 10 to 15, you start to realize you can make your own decisions. And after 15 and whatnot, that's the high school age of the rebellious phase. Because I think subconsciously or some sort of consciously, we know we can change. We can change who we are, if that makes sense. And we have some sort of awareness of who we are and what we can change about that. Which I find also fascinating, because with the right tools you can reinvent yourself so many different times. Like look at the stories of well, I got him. He just self-destructed. But like the stories of people who grew up in poverty and then they realized they had control of their lives and then they changed it. Granted, it was a very long and hard road for them, but they were able to change their identity to the person they want and to who they wanted to be. They didn't want to be defined by their economic status, or they wanted to do a certain thing, but again, it required them to change their identity a little bit. Boom, baby. There we go. But it just comes down, and what was it? With the parents thing, is when you're first born, your parents get to write the first version of you. Like, that is just an unfortunate, is like, I mean, yeah, you have inputs, and if you have good parents, they'll listen to your inputs and whatnot. But unfortunately, your parents have full creative control of who you're going to be for the first little bit of your life. But the cool thing is once you realize that you can change your identity to what you want it to be, that that whole perspective changes to your benefit. And granted, some stuff is programmed into your mind for a while now. Like, there's some stuff that parents do to kids that will stick with them and they need therapy and whatnot. But, like, oh, it's just kind of a cool thing about identity is that you get to change your identity. I was hoping that would kill him. It did. From the grave! From the grave, baby. From the grave. But yeah, it's just interesting how identity is shaped by everything around you. Especially if you just let it shape everything around you. And I think that's what a lot of people do is just are like, well, it's just like I'm expected to do this. So a lot of the time, people will just do what they're told. I was hoping that did more damage. Oh well. But people just do what they're told, and they end up being society's product instead of being their own product, which, yeah, I mean, nothing bad if that happens to you. We're just all trying to live on this planet together. But the fact that you're... Oh, hello. Oh, shoot. That's okay. I'll record what happens. It's not that much longer. We'll record the last 5 minutes. But... yeah, I was just thinking about identity and how, like, society, your parents, movies, and shows change your identity, and how, I don't know, the reason I wanted to talk about identity is choosing your identity, but also acknowledging where you come from. Like, if you came from a poor background, you have to acknowledge that. Like, that's still a little bit of who you were and how the past did influence your current version of you today. Like, that is undeniable of a thing that happened. But I feel like forging identity is a good mixture of recognizing what has happened to you and then acknowledging what you want it, and then integrating what you want to become and what your goals and whatnot and aspirations come to and everything like that. Oh, that was fun. Should I make this a two-parter? Oh, well, I'm going to end this here. Thanks for watching. We'll see if there's a part 2 to Identity. Identity Part 2. That's how you know you're making it as a mainstream YouTuber, when you can do Part 2 videos. I'll see who watches this. Again, I know I'm just an AMVer from Red vs. Blue content. Nobody watches my stuff anymore because I'm inconsistent as all hell. But that's the thing, is I'm going to change my identity to prove them wrong. So, thanks for watching. Have a fantastic, amazing day. Cheers.